What's up, everybody? It's Frederick Douglass Bussey. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can grow your business, scale your business by understanding the secret to marketing in a recession. Let's go to work. So if you ever watch the news at all, ever walk past a newspaper stand, ever scroll your phone and get an alert that's talking about inflation, the recession, things of that nature, you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader, understand this is something that's out there. It's on everybody's mind. We're in an election year. We just recently had an election nationally where we elected people based on one of the biggest issues, which is always the economy. And so if you're trying to understand exactly what it is that is in the minds of your customers, your clients, your potential customers, understanding that environment is really important. Understanding how to market in that environment is even more important because there are certain mistakes that people make, certain assumptions and certain conditioning that we're under that people really aren't really dealing with. I want to welcome all those you're watching here live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Hi, Amy. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for showing up again, as always. If there are those of you who are wondering about building your business and you're kind of feeling the weight of the recession, the uncertainty, right? I want you to understand that we have very short memories and that we often forget the lessons that we could have learned just a very short time ago. Now, as bad as the recession could be, imagine having, for instance, let's say you had a global pandemic and then the entire world just shut down. The economy grinds to a halt all over the world, and you create supply chain issues. Imagine if such a thing like that happened. What would we do, right? And we forget that that's exactly what we've just come through. And a lot of the situations that we're facing right now are results of that situation. But if you are marketing your business to people who are dealing with that situation, there's a couple of things that you can understand. And there's one thing that's really, really key. And most people don't do this when they begin their business. And companies often forget this as they grow and they make certain assumptions about their clients or their customers. And here's what we really need to tap into, right? Understanding this, right? So when people are in a recession, the idea that we typically think of the economy is, if you want to think of it as a string, right? A string where money is flowing. So we've got cash flow here all along the string. And what people think of in the economy is they think of it as a recession is when things constrict, right? And so now things are tight. And so, oh no, there's not as much money. There's not enough liquidity, cash flow, etc. But the thing about a recession is that a couple of things happen. One, when you have an inflation, you are actually finding that your money is losing value, right? And so everything that you're spending on becomes more expensive. So the things that you used to buy yesterday cost you more today. People know this in their mind. However, if they don't have a business, they don't necessarily have the ability to increase their cash flow. So this is where most of your customers are coming from. If you're selling B2B, potentially they do, but people, because they are selling to other people or in the economy, they think of this in the same way. And so businesses do the same thing. What do? They constrict. They have layoffs, right? They cut spending. All these things are constrictive thought processes and actions that people take. They try to conserve. They become more conservative. And what we want to do is we want to actually do the opposite, right? And when I say the opposite, I mean you want to learn how to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, because the opposite is what gets 99% of the people where they are, right? So if one person is in the lead, then they did something that everyone else didn't do. They either ran faster, they either trained differently, they did something that got them to the head of the pack. And if you want to be at the head of the pack, if you don't want to just survive, right, in the middle of the field, because what happens in the middle of the field? In the middle of the field, people die. People get run over. People get tripped. That's where the most dangerous place to be is in the pack. And so you either want to lay back in the back or you want to be in the front. In the back, you have a harder path to go to the front. In the front, you have everybody behind you, and you have clear sailing. And that's what you want to be able to do, because you have to be able to differentiate yourself from everyone else. And so if everyone else is constricting, then you got to figure out the fastest path to being able to expand, right? How do I expand my market, my clients, my customers, right? How do I increase my cash flow, right? What are the keys to being able to do that? Now, it sounds really, really simple, but until you can take yourself out of the constriction, conservative mindset, you can't even get to the biggest secret of all, right? And so if you don't understand what that is, and you are not freeing yourself up to do that, and I'll make one more analogy here. What people tend to do is, when it gets cold, right, we cover up, we shiver, we put layers on of protection, and that's what we want to do. In the summertime, you take layers off and you expand, and you're like, oh, I'm trying to cool off, right? Cold and constriction is what we do in our bodies. And so physically, we are actually exerting more energy to stay warm, because that's what shivering is, right? And so we're tensing our muscles up, all of that. And the same thing is true energetically in your business. And when you're marketing, because you are constricting, you are thinking very, very conservatively, and that's not a great energy to put out. People don't want to buy things because they're thinking the same thing you are. You're holding on to your money, and you're holding on to your energy, and your giving and your generosity in your business. And so people are doing the same with their money, right? Because cash flow is a free process. And when you're constricting that in your mindset and your actions and your marketing, your messaging to people is telling people, hey, I'm scared right now. You should be scared, right? So what do you want to do? You actually want to be able to release people from that. So here's what we want to do, right? The first thing that people want to do when they're marketing is that they want to scream, right? And so let's see if I can draw a person here. Right? That's a very scary individual, but trust me, all right? And so what do they want to do? They want to talk. And so the idea is, typically, if I want to break through the noise and talk to another person, I am going to talk louder, right? And you want to yell at that person continuously to be able to get them to hear what you're saying. And so because of that, right, whatever's in their head, right, and whatever's in their hand, if they have the dollar signs, if they have whatever you need them to be your client, right, you have the product. Let's call this we'll make it a light bulb, right? So you have the solution, they have the money. So you want to talk about your solution, right? But inside of them, they have a problem. Now it exists here inside their head. Maybe you know what it is, but until you understand how they think and feel about that thing, right? So let's say that it's actually locked inside their emotions, right? We use to represent the heart. It's locked inside their emotions, and you don't know how to get that out. So what we typically want to do is we want to talk it out. I'm going to tell you all about your problem. I'm going to tell you all about my solution. I'm going to tell you, and all the things are this way, right? And it sounds like, we talk about the word generosity in our business. We think that by talking about it, we're giving to people, right? But there's a way that you talk, and there is a process and a flow that you want to be able to create. And what most companies are doing now is that they are just screaming into the world. And what happens when you hear something that's too loud, when you hear noise that's continually coming at you? People shut down, right? They shut down. And so if you shut down the barriers of communication or erect a barrier of communication to shut people down, now you are restricting, right? You're restricting the cash flow. You're keeping people from wanting to buy because they don't care about what you're saying. All they can hear is yelling. What you want to be able to do to break this barrier down is to stop talking. I cut off her nose. All right. You want to stop talking. You want to start listening, right? And so now you want to receive what they're saying here. You want to be able to internalize that so you can understand more deeply. And here's the bottom line. The companies that win, the ones that are at the front, understand their clients more deeply than anyone else. They've just done more listening. They understand it more deeply. And I know we have this big word that we use now. It's a small word actually, but we use data, big data. There's all these different ways to say, well, Amazon's listening to us. These companies listening to me. They're eavesdropping on what we've got going on. They're trying to pay attention, right? They're trying to collect all the data points. And you feel like, well, I'm on my phone and somebody's been listening to me and I see this ad pop up, right? And so it feels like, it feels invasive because the listening is actually them just popping up again. And it's actually more yelling. Now they're yelling at you in different places. And they feel like, well, if I can get to them in more places and talk about my stuff more, then I can continually be able to be in front of them and I can be the one that wins their business. What you want to do is you need to understand why you want to show up where you want to show up. How are you going to show up there? How are you going to tell that story in a way that allows them to understand and resonate with your solution, your business, your brand more than anyone else? And the only way you can do that is you have a deeper understanding of what people are going through, what they're experiencing in their lives. What is their pain point? Because here's the thing, even in a recession, the pains don't go away. They actually get exacerbated. They actually get magnified, right? So that pain is felt more deeply and hurts even more. And if that's the case, what you need is you need the ability, the capacity to be able to listen better and to hear more. Now, my 4-year-old is coming in to join the session. Yes, ma'am. Let me play with Paw Patrol. Okay, well, but it's not time for Paw Patrol, okay? So I'm talking to the people, teaching them about something. So can you go back and ask Auntie to help you with your work, what you're supposed to be doing? I already did it. Okay, great. Well, it's going to be lunchtime soon, all right? So just go down and work on something else. I don't want to. You don't want to? Okay, all right. Well, we're going to stay here and talk. So one of the things you get to do is you get to listen better, right? And Amy said right here, it magnifies and intensifies. When pain magnifies and intensifies, and my daughter is a perfect example, right? So I have to understand what her pain is. When you have a child, a baby, you could yell at them and tell them to be quiet. You can yell at them and tell them to do all the things you want them to do. If they don't have the capacity to understand that, you can't get them to be quiet or be at peace. Well, you don't get peace, right? There's a transactional nature to all of that. What you want to be able to do is you want to be able to understand their needs more deeply than they understand them so that you can anticipate it and be there to resonate with them, right? There's a whole process that we do this. We're not going to dive all into that today, but that is literally the secret. And most people ignore this. Most companies, most brands, because they are in a constrictive, conservative nature, they're trying to conserve things and they're trying to save money to survive. They're not thinking about thriving and how to move forward. And this takes courage. Not everybody is able to do that, right? So what you get to do is you get to shift your mindset and think, how can I be at the leader of the pack? How can I zig when everybody else is zagging, right? How can I do what everyone else is not doing so I can stand out? Because our eyes are naturally drawn to the thing that is different from everyone else, right? And so if you've got one white dot on this black shirt, Your eye will be drawn there. Everything else is black. And that's what your competition is doing. That's what everyone else in your industry is doing. They are following the same tactics. They're saying the same things. They're working the same funnels. They're using the same ad strategies. And it seems like it's working, but it's only working because some product did it once. First, they had great success. They turned around and said, hey, this is what we did. Or people watched them and copycatted and followed. But following will only get you the remnants of what someone else has done, right? And so if you want to be the leader in your industry with your clients, your customers, you got to be able to understand what is it that they need more deeply even than they do. So how do I join the conversation that's going on inside their head already? And then how do I stand out? So we'll talk about that in some other lessons as well. You are not as light as you used to be. What are you discovering from this whole conversation, right? The secret of marketing in a recession. What are you discovering? Drop a comment below in LinkedIn or Facebook. Also, if you have not yet had a chance to register for our $1 Million Year Masterclass, which is taking place on December the 6th at 1 p.m., it's a 90-minute masterclass that gives you the blueprint for building a 7-figure business in 12 months or less. And this is not the promise that you're going to do that. But if you are going to do it, you're going to have a blueprint. You're going to move forward. And what I want you to understand is that what we're going to do is dive deeply into understanding what's been in your way, how you can craft that blueprint so you can build something that's more powerful than ever. I'm going to drop the link here below in the comments so you guys can check that out. If you have not yet registered, register now. It is absolutely free. And if you register now, there's also an opportunity for you to join a VIP session. Used to be taller. Okay, you're still growing. There's a VIP session that we're offering as well. It's got a bunch of free goodies in there as well. What are some of the things you get? So you're going to get, I wrote it down, but I can't remember now. So there's a couple of things you're going to get. You're going to get a recording of the masterclass for free. You're going to get a Crush Your Goals Challenge, which is a 5-day challenge to help people be able to be more clear on what's in the way of them being able to execute on their vision. You get that entire course for free. You're going to get the 1-hour VIP session, which is a Q&A session with me where we answer questions to customize the answers to your business in particular, so you understand a little bit more clearly about what it is you need to execute on over the next 12 months to be able to get momentum in your business and get where you want to go. There's a ton of freebies in there as well. You're going to get all that. It's a $1,500 value if you register for the class and you upgrade to the VIP session. And you're going to get all of that, which is a $1,500 value. You can get it for $47 if you register for the free class. Now, you don't have to. The class is free. The master class is free. 90 minutes of intense training. We're going to talk about all the blueprint that you need to be able to build your business, your 7-figure business in 12 months or less. It will be great to see you there. I love to have all of you, if you're watching this live, watching this in replay, then make sure you go down right now and click and register for that as well. I got some comments here as well. Thanks, Amy. Thanks everybody for noticing my daughter. Yes, she's a cutie. She's my youngest, and she's also the one that believes that she's teaching these classes. So yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll drop the link for the chat. We'll drop the link for the $1 Million Year here as well. I thought I'd done that. Let me drop it one more time in case you didn't get that. And if you're in the group, then it may not link in the chat, but I'll drop that link in the video, below the video in the chat as well. I'm actually live streaming to 7 different places at once right now, so we have to go back and make sure the links are all there for you to be able to check that out. All right. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook, drop a comment below. Let us know what you discovered from this training. Was it valuable for you? What could we improve? If you got a question, feel free to drop that as well, because it helps me to be able to improve on what we're sharing with you as well. And I really appreciate all of you for checking us out live. If you're watching this on YouTube, thumbs up, like, subscribe. Please share this with someone else who you find might be valuable. I appreciate all of you. Goldie, I can't see who it is on Facebook right there, but I appreciate you as well. And we're looking forward to seeing you next time. As always, my name is Frederick Bussey, and this is, what's your name?
Elia.
Elea, ever forward.